Hey. Hey, hi, hello, beautiful badass heart warriors. Welcome back for another episode of TGIM Live on the Journey to Inner Self series. Thank God it's Monday. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Whoop, whoop. I'm so excited about today because we're diving into a topic that has completely transformed my life. Gut health. And we've got a special guest with us today, my friend, the amazing Danielle. Some of you have gotten to know her through different chats, through just different things I've shared in my posts and my stories over the last couple of years. Not only is Danielle a total expert when it comes to gut health, but it's also the reason why I started my journey with mental wellness, the company I now partner with Lively Intuitive Transformations. I want to give you a quick backstory. About 2 years ago, I was searching for a gut health reset. I was looking at one of those intense 21-day cleanses, something that I would share with my clients as a life and health coach. And I was looking at this 21-day cleanse and I was feeling inspired. You know, I was asking people around, like I was talking about it on social media, asking people if they were interested in a gut cleanse, wanting to release the brain fog, the anxiety, the headaches, the bloating, the indigestion, insomnia. And people were interested. They were wanting to know, they were wanting to do a 21-day cleanse. They were interested in resetting and rebooting their gut health. And all of a sudden, bam, Danielle's posts started coming up in my news feed. And it was exactly what I was needing. It was in line with the 21-day cleanse. I was needing to reboot my gut health. I was needing to reboot my good gut bacteria. And she was talking about how this was a powerful 3-day reboot. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so what Danielle was sharing was exactly what I needed to hear. 3 days, easy breezy, a reboot cleanse that wasn't going to have you tied to the bathroom, that wasn't going to have you starving yourself and, only eating liquid diet, like none of that. So Danielle's story, her vibe, her energy, it pulled me in. I recognized her from school because she's a certified health and life coach too. I went to the same institute together. And I resonated with her, and I wasn't quite sure why years ago, when we were going to school. But everything happens for a reason. And so, fast forward years later, here I am seeking a 21-day cleanse, a gut reboot. And boom, here she is talking about it and sharing about it. And the rest is history. It has changed my life phenomenally in the aspect of I cried. When I started repairing my gut health and my mental wellness started repairing itself too because of my gut, I was literally in tears of happiness, of joy. I was remembering things, conversations with my daughter that I'd have. I would say, yes, ask me about that later, busy mom stuff, like, maybe we can do that tomorrow or whatever. I would remember that after months and years of struggling to remember those little things, those little promises that I would make to her. And as a mom who just wants to be so present and so there for my kid, it literally made me cry these tears of joy because I could show up. That's the mental wellness aspect of it. The less anxiety, being able to show up at different places, like expos, in crowds of thousands of people, where I used to not even want to leave my house to go to the grocery store, to now having the confidence and the strength and the mental clarity and the energy to literally show up in a room of thousands of people, to talk to so many different people, to go from, not even wanting to pick up the phone and talking to somebody, let alone meeting a bunch, like thousands of people, stopping by a booth and being able to have these conversations confidently, energized, the mental clarity to be able to share what I'm wanting to share about gut health, about mental wellness, and being able to tackle the tasks. I talk about this, like, we all have that to-do list that is like absolutely dreadful. There's some tasks on there we just don't want to do, and it's like, oh, we're maybe putting it off, procrastinating it. And this is what Rebel Fuel helps me with. It helps me tackle the to-do list, get those things done. And not just me, but like so many other people. So this is the mental wellness aspect of it. But there's also a physical aspect of the mental wellness company. There's not just a mental wellness aspect to gut health. There's the physical wellness to gut health as well. And part of that is metabolism, that is helping us digest our food so much better. We're assimilating more nutrients, meaning our body is able to utilize the nutrients from our food that much more efficient. Yeah, so the beautiful thing about gut health is there's two distinct parts to it. There's the mental wellness part, and then there's the physical aspect part, and it lowers inflammation. Yay, Danielle is here. So who's ready? I'm ready to have an open, real conversation about gut health and why it matters and why it impacts not just your physical health, but your mental wellness. So yeah, let's see if we can pull her in. Bear with me. I hope that worked.
We're doing it.
Hey, we're doing it.
Hi.
Everybody, welcome Danielle to TGIM Live on the Journey to Inner Self series.
I didn't get the hat memo.
Oh, thank you. So it was random. I was actually recording a reel before this, a Christmas reel.
It's so great. I mean, I feel like I should be wearing a hat just in general. I feel like everyone else has one except for me. And I'm like, okay, for next year, I will have more Christmas sweaters and more Christmas hats.
Right? Yes, exactly. I was feeling.
It's so good to be on with you. I'm just looking at, I haven't done an Instagram live in a while, and I'm just seeing there's all these features. Like, I can share this video so people can watch it on all the things.
Oh, awesome. This is so good. So we're just chatting about gut health, complete with inspiration, some awesome vibes, and powerful takeaways.
I'm so excited for this conversation.
Thank you. Me too. Well, let's jump in, Danielle.
Yes, let's
tell us your story.
Oh man, where do we start?
Where do you start? Well, let's share your personal gut health story. Yep.
Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle DeGrande. Amy, I'm so grateful to be on with you. Love you so much. And I'm so grateful that we can share this message and just really educate and empower other people to start learning about gut health and how it plays a role in so much more than just your digestion. For me, it was a complete turning point. I'll take you back a little bit. 5 years ago, I was definitely not at the place that I am now. I was feeling stuck. I was feeling discouraged. There was a light inside of me that wasn't burning very brightly. I was dealing significantly with mental health, like anxiety, ADHD, lots of depression, and substance abuse. And that was a constant in my life for a good amount of time. And at the time, what I knew about what was going on in my life through mental health and through substance abuse, I didn't really feel very empowered by the tools that were given to me because they weren't necessarily working. I went a very traditional route. Didn't have much success. And luckily, about 5 years ago, I was introduced to gut health. Now, I loosely had heard about gut health, but what happened is when you said gut health, all I would think about was digestion. And for me, that wasn't really what the problem was in my life, right? The problem was I was in a place and I was stuck. I was stuck and I was feeling like I wasn't going to be able to kind of get out of this place that I was in because I hadn't had very much luck with traditional things. And if you've ever taken the traditional route for your mental health or pharmaceuticals or things and you haven't really felt much better, it's really disempowering because then you start to believe that something's wrong with you, And so I was introduced to gut health and I started learning about the impact that it has, not just on your digestion, but your overall entire well-being. So much of our gut health dictates the way that we show up. It dictates the way that we show up for ourselves, for the people in our lives, for, just all of the things that it really makes such a huge difference. And so when I started to incorporate gut health into my life, I started quantum leaping in all of these areas, both mentally, physically, emotionally. And at first, I always say, it felt like the light turned back on. That was the first thing that I noticed. The fog cleared, the mental clarity. I started to get my internal spark back, my internal motivation, my internal drive. And I had no idea what was really happening. I was like, I'm not going to question this. We're just going to keep going. And once I started to learn about all of these facts that Amy and I will talk about with you today, I began to feel so empowered to take my healing into my own hands. And I was wondering why no one had ever educated me on this. And I realized at that moment in time that I had to go through what I went through and learn this information so that I could share it to people that were one step behind. And so it became a passion of mine. I dove into it. It's so interesting to think that that one turning point in my life with my health, because that was a promise that I made to myself, was I really wanted to, I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I really wanted to focus on my health, and I went all in on that. And that focusing on my health opened up the gateway for so many other things. It allowed me to stop using substances, stop drinking alcohol. I'm over 5 years sober. And it pulled me away from those bad habits. Thank you. It pulled me away from those bad habits because I started to feel so good. And when you start to feel so good, things that are not in alignment to you start to fall away. They start to fall away, and it's this whole new world opens up. And it seems crazy to be what, that health? But it really does have such a huge part of your mental, physical, and emotional well-being, and just the way that I saw myself and the world, and just all of the things shifted for me. So it's the lights turn back on. I see in color instead of black and white. Major mental transformation, major physical transformation, major mindset. When you're feeling really good, something about your mindset shifts too. And over the last 5 years, it shifted into really elevating this conversation, educating people on just this information that I wasn't taught, and then meeting people like Amy and other people that are passionate about this type of thing and banding together and really creating a movement and a conversation. So yes, things falling away, right? It's amazing what happens when we start to feel good. We start to feel good. And I feel for so much of my life, it wasn't all terrible. I mean, there was times when I was doing really well in my life and I had a great job and I was making a lot of money. I thought I made it, but I felt really misaligned. I felt really misaligned in a lot of areas. And it was just interesting because I thought that I felt good, but I didn't know what it was like to feel this good. And I feel a lot of people are going through the motions thinking that this is maybe as good as it gets, or maybe they shouldn't be as happy. Maybe happiness is not as attainable, and it just kind of I feel a lot of people get stuck, and it's a simple change like this can really open up so many things for you. So that's a little bit of my story, and thank you for hearing me and allowing me to share with you on this live.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful introduction. Oh my God, that's so inspiring. Seriously, the comeback, the internal motivation, the internal drive, the being able to feel better as you go and as you were working on your gut health and your mental wellness, and that the other things naturally fell away. That's so important. Yeah. It's that pleasure really drives our habit loops, and when we're feeling better, starting from the inside out,
Right.
it ripples. Yeah.
I always say that I like really, there's a lot of cheap dopamine out there, cheap alcohol, social media, porn, sex, all the things,
Yep.
right? And once you start to find ways to create your own dopamine, it's actually lasting. You actually feel good, and that's kind of what we're doing here through the gut as well.
Ooh, ooh, so good too. Yes, because like the highs and the lows aren't so high and aren't so
Yeah,
low.
yeah. It's just like peaceful, more peace.
More peace. Like there's still shit. There's still
Yeah,
uncontrollable stuff in life happening that you get faced with, but it's having the resilience to
right.
face it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. So in everything that you shared, all beautiful, what do you think was the biggest impact for you when it came to experience since improving your gut health?
I think the biggest experience, hand down, is my mental health. I mean, just like I really feel just the way that I felt mentally was causing a lot of like we know that stress causes havoc on our bodies, and when you're at war internally in your head and you are constantly stressed or constantly in that like anxiety feeling, that anxious fight or flight feeling, to have that, as we just kind of talked about, like it's almost like I would compare it to turning the volume down on a radio. Just tuning it out has been like it's allowed me to really ground in back into my body and start practicing like a lot more mindfulness practices. Whereas before I felt I was so dysregulated in my body that the only thing that I knew how to do to soothe myself was drink alcohol or replace things with the not so great habits, because I really think at the end of the day a lot of us are trying to regulate what we now know is our nervous system,
Mm.
and it takes so much. And so for me, it was like giving that opportunity to feel safe in my body and learning to listen to my body and not bypass everything in my life as a woman and with a cycle and all the
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
All the things.
Yeah. And then
Oh,
that is what's interesting is when you're mental, like I feel like we kind of got it backwards. Like when we were in elementary school, middle school, we were taught about physical. We had physical education, right? But nobody ever
yeah.
taught us about mental. So it's like we didn't realize that. I personally think now the way that you feel mentally drives a huge part of how you feel physically, because I know myself when I'm feeling good, I want to show up for myself and work out and take a walk outside. When I'm not feeling good, I know those things will make me feel better, but I don't want to do them as much. So if you can start with how you feel mentally, it drives the physical aspect, and then my physical health did a 180 as well. And so I wasn't expecting my physical health to do this, but it's like everything from my life improved: my skin, my nails, my inflammation left my body. And I just, looking back at pictures, I look like, I don't know, I look like I lost my light. And it's just a physical, it's like once you take care of the inside of your body, then the outside starts to shine as well.
Yes, yes. So true. And you said a major thing there too about inflammation. Like looking back at those pictures, um, and thinking back of where we used to be as just a society and not
Yeah,
knowing about our nervous system, and we were looking for ways, seeking ways to regulate our nervous system, whether it would be through alcohol, porn, food, whatever it may be, sex,
sugar.
sugar, shopping, like really.
Amazon.
Amazon.
And they make it
We're
so
like, we're
easy.
it's I'm just as guilty. I'm actually really guilty for filling my shopping cart on Amazon and then forgetting about it.
There's a thing called the dopamine detox. It's like this thing to challenge yourself for the new year. It's like every time you go to, because I mean, we're all doing a lot of shopping for the holidays, I'm sure, but there's a thing where like try to spend the next 30 days after the new year of detoxing from some of the dopamine habits. So maybe like less of the things and see how you feel.
That's so good. Stay
Take
on
a walk
Amazon.
instead.
Yes, yes. So like no, shifting that realization to
Yeah.
tuning out or numbing out to that, oh, these are the things that I'm actually doing to instate that, like regulate my nervous system. That's simply what it is. It's no judgment on the habit or what you're
Right.
actually doing, all because really it's stemming from a positive intention, and you're looking, like we look to regulate our nervous system. And so yeah, that was huge. um in saying that, and I can't remember what my point was. Oh, just about coming, like, when we have that acknowledgement that we can make these different choices for ourselves. And internally, our inner energy drives that physical energy. And yeah, like, part of the getting it backwards, like our physical health, our physical education, and in our younger years of school, it's so much more important to focus on our mental health. And it's part of why I homeschool, actually.
Yeah, and I think as women, I mean, and I'm not just speaking for women, but I will speak for women since we're two women. I think that we deal with a lot of like self-worth and self-esteem and a lot of like things that have been programmed in us since we were younger, and that plays a direct impact on our gut health and our emotional health as well. So this part of like the empowerment part about when you feel better and the motivation piece, like the word that comes to mind is empowering. It's very empowering when you're like taking your agency back and you're just like, I'm gonna go after the things that I know I deserve, you know? So that's kind of like a big part of my story too that tied into this, was just remembering, you're gonna cuss on this? Remembering who the F I was.
Yes, we can cuss on this.
Okay, I don't know who's watching. If there's kids around, I just want to be respectful.
No, thanks. Yes. Yeah, no, for sure. Oh my God. Remembering who the fuck you are. Danielle, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Okay, so if somebody was just starting out and wanting to, work on their mental wellness or their gut health, like, where would they start?
I think it's I think that's two parts. I think when it comes to your mental, I think taking an inventory of your life and what, like, the things and the people and things in your life, whether it be your work, your environment, your community, your habits, really just taking an honest inventory of where you're at. And starting to work on a few things. Say you have you can't sleep, working on creating a really good sleep hygiene schedule for yourself. If you are, wanting to set yourself up for success in the morning, like making a good morning routine. If alcohol is something you need to look at, cutting back your alcohol, trying something like dry January, doing something to like shift you out of the state. I think that's the first thing, is really, a lot of times we don't realize how things are affecting us until we actually sit down and look. So I think taking an honest inventory for me, that was like, I need to stop drinking. I need to get out of this toxic relationship. I need to commit to myself and put myself in a place where I'm not going to have, temptations, and just, I really worked on like, how can I really pour into myself? So that was kind of that aspect. Now, when it comes to gut health, and wherever you're kind of at on the scale, there are some amazing things you can do that aren't going to cost you a lot. Walking is actually something that really improves your gut health. So for me, I start my mornings, I like to habit stack. If anyone knows what habit stacking is, it's putting two things together that are moving the needle forward for you. So for me, I love to start the day with, the first thing that I do is after I drink some of my drinks and take my supplement, is I will get outside and walk my dog, and I'll put a podcast in. So I'm getting the serotonin from the sunlight, getting that dopamine hit, a positive dopamine hit, and things like that. So walking, I truly believe walking has been one of the most transformative things for me, and it's completely free. We can go outside, we can couple it with nature as well, and then really taking a look at our diet. Our diet, obviously, the food that we eat is the raw material that our body runs on. So I always think that it's like the gas in your gas tank, right? If you had a premium car, you would be putting unleaded gas in it. So really making sure that you're eating a wide variety of vegetables, and just really like tasting the rainbow, and just a really healthy gut microbiome thrives on diversity. So next time you're at the grocery store and you see like where maybe a weird vegetable or fruit that you've never got, bring it home with you, put it in like a soup or something. But just realize like it's everything that we do, everything we listen to, everything we watch on Netflix, everything we put into our mouth, every interaction we have with people, like all of those things drive the state of your gut and your mental well-being. And if you are in a super stressful job, or you're just at a stressful point in your life, or you're financially stressed, or whatever is happening right now, taking the time to acknowledge where you're at, even if it's a couple minutes in the morning before you get on your phone, of just giving yourself some space, a quick meditation, just giving yourself some time and some space before you take on everything else and everyone else in the world, are some of my tips. I know that was a lot, but those are some of them. And then For me, I personally use a gut health product and a gut health regimen that I started 5 years ago that I take to this day that has just tremendously helped me.
Mm, yes. We're going to chat more about that. And I can't wait to chat more about that. I just have three quick questions to ask.
Thanks, Amy. This is just flowing out of me this morning.
Yeah, this is perfect. This is
It's fun.
exactly what I wanted. I'm like looking at my questions I have. Like you're just ding, 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 answering them. I'm loving it. I'm curious, why do you think gut health is such a hot topic in wellness right now in the industry? What people are focusing on for their health?
Well, it's actually always been. What did who was it? Who was it? Hippocrates or somebody said all disease starts in the gut, right? Who said that?
I can't remember, but
You
oh
know
my
who I'm
god.
talking about. Same philosopher. I think it's. If anyone knows, that'd be great. We can Google it. But all disease starts in the gut. We've known this information for so long. If you go back to like years and years and years ago when we were using like, Ayurvedic, like actual ingredients from the earth, like a lot of this, there's always been things that have made for digestion. We've known about this. I truly believe that we have and I'm not anti-Western medicine. I'm not. I think there's a time and a place for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because of the profitability of big food and big pharma and all of these big conglomerates, that it is advantageous. And especially with the way we've seen, we've watched diet culture push low calorie, don't eat bread, should eat low fat, and then it's laced with sugar. We've created this entire food system in the United States of America where people are almost dependent. It's a cycle, right? It's unless you really do, and that's one of the things that we can talk about too, is like educating yourself. It's almost like you get trapped in this cycle and there's a lot of profit in it, right? So if you are not healthy, then you need medication, and it's just kind of this whole thing. So I feel like we've always known about gut health. However, as a society, I also feel like we are becoming more aware of this, which is beautiful to see. Like our generation really learning about this, but it's always been there. It's always been there. But I really think with the rise of the issues of mental health, like we've become one of the not the healthiest. I think we're like number 17 in terms of health and happiness on the continuum. Is we're realizing like how much of like our mental health is like how it drives our life, and now we see the connection between the gut and the brain, and we're realizing this. We're like, whoa, whoa, whoa! All along there was this information. It's like, kind of like we talked about. I learned about this information 5 years ago. That was the first time I'd ever heard about it. So now that people are picking up and realizing like I can actually manage my stress, work on my gut health, eat healthy food, take care of my mental health, and feel a whole lot better. I feel like it's just on the rise.
It is. It really is. And it was Hippocrates.
Hippocrates. I was like, Aristotle or Hippocrates, one of these wonderful philosophers. Yes. So yeah, we've known about it forever.
The father of medicine. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, so like on that note, what is you shared so much about
I did. I shared a lot. I hope everyone got value out of this. I feel like we can turn into a master class.
So much. And like you even touched base on some of those misconceptions and like where it stems from, the profitability, and some of our misconceptions stem around the advertisements and the things that we're faced with, and
of course,
all the noise. Like
100%.
What do you think? What do you think the biggest misconception is? Like when you're working with customers and clients, like what do you think the biggest misconception around gut health is?
I think the biggest misconception about gut health is twofold, right? It depends on kind of where you're at. But one is that like your gut health's not really important, because say you're not dealing with it. A lot of people that experience mental health, like anxiety, you'll understand the connection between your gut and your brain, because if you've ever like almost got in a car accident, or somebody's like, something bad has happened or stressful happens, you can feel that like anxious, like you're about to actually like throw up, or you just feel like this internal turmoil where your stomach is in knots. That's literally the gut brain connection in action. But I think so much of what we've thought about how we feel mentally is in our head. when actually your brain is it's your gut and your brain are connected through your vagus nerve, and they're talking like all day long back and forth to each other. And so if your gut and your brain can't properly connect, think of it as like a cell phone that doesn't have connection. It's like the call keeps getting dropped. So it's like we cannot do one without the other. And because so much of our serotonin, like literally the thing that makes you motivated and happy, those are 90% of that, your serotonin is produced in your gut. So if you're not feeling great, is the answer to first go on a pharmaceutical, or is the answer, what if I, before I took that route, really learned how to clean up my diet, started to eat better food, started to take some quality like supplements that were actually like filling the nutritional gaps. And then what if I started to feel better mentally? But I think so much of like just, we've been taught like if you have a problem in your brain, it stems from your brain and it needs a pharmaceutical or a medication. And so just really knowing that they're like, it's like yin and yang. And if you support your gut health, you're going to feel better in the way that you show up in life. And you might not snap at your kids or be stressed out or, you know, look for the cheap dopamine fix. You're just going to feel better mentally. And so that's like the number one thing I want more people to know is like
your brain,
yeah,
your brain feeds off of what you feel.
And then it hit everything, and then it affects everything. It affects the physical health, the mental health, the emotional well-being, as we discussed before.
Yeah, and that 90% of serotonin is produced in the gut. This is my big, like I'm a firm believer in blessed medicine too. There's always a time and a place, especially when people are in a really drastic place with their mental health to help bridge that gap, right? And the thing is, when our brains are feeding off of what it feeds off of, and we have 90% of our serotonin being produced in our gut, and then we stick somebody who has very low levels of serotonin on an SSRI, which like breaks up that say 10% of serotonin over 24 hours. Why are we not teaching somebody who has such low serotonin in their body how to produce more? Like, because that is what's going to drive your mental health getting better. Like,
and that's the huge disconnect in our society, right? Is like, you know, some people don't want to be educated. They want the easy route, right? Some people do want that. That's just how it is. And other times it's like, it takes a lot more to shift somebody's habits and start changing the way that maybe they're eating and doing things than it is just, I mean, especially with doctors, right? I mean, that's why there's a rise of this conversation. But yeah, I mean, you're more bacteria. Like your gut and your bacteria outnumber your human cells. So I always say you're basically like this big, and this is not gross, but you are this live walking like cesspool of bacteria, and they're bugs in your body, and there's good bugs and there's bad bugs. And a lot of people, if you've ever experienced like digestive issues or you eat certain foods and you feel horrible after, and everyone's chewing Tums nowadays, like all of these things, like it's just the imbalance of the bacteria. So if you have a lot of bad bacteria in your body, it's going to cause you to feel like crap. And what you want to do is outnumber the good bacteria to the bad so that you can start to feel good, because it's just two different ways of living, basically.
Oh man, that was an eye-opener as well, like having more cells in our gut than we do in our entire body.
Yeah,
like,
it's more, I learned it's like more than there are stars in the Milky Way. So take that idea with you.
Thank you.
And you're like, whoa, this is maybe a tad bit important, don't you think?
Yes. You can tweak it from the inside out. You can smile from the inside out. So let's chat about what your gut health secret is. How I was sharing before we jumped on about how 2 years ago I was literally looking for a gut health cleanse, and I was doing like, because we went to the same institute, I was going to do HCI's 21-day gut health cleanse. And like, I was talking about it on my stories. People were interested. They were wanting, you know, to increase their mental clarity, their energy, all the good stuff. And then boom, I started seeing your posts that was coming across my feed, and I'm like, oh, this is what I need. This is in alignment. with me. I watched for a couple weeks. One thing I hadn't shared, I'm just sharing it now, is before we talked, like before I actually like messaged you or we connected, I don't even remember exactly how that happened, but we touched base. It was about a week or two before that. I was in the doctor's office and I was crying because of like despair. I was at a loss with things. I was like, I feel like I have ADHD symptoms through the roof. I can't remember shit. I'm like trying to homeschool. I'm trying to run my business and like I don't have the energy. I'm dog tired by 6 p.m., like dragging my feet. I was like, I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do. I can't focus my anything. It was terrible. And he's like, do you want to go on these medications? And I thought, I checked in with myself and I'm like, no. I was like, I've been seeing this thing online. I think I'm going to give it a try. Let's chat in a couple weeks. I'll let you know how it goes. And boom, we messaged and you're like, let's get started. That's like one of the things you're asked, you're like, ask me questions. What do you want to know? And I'm like, I just want to get started.
Yeah, like that's so common though. Most people are like, I can't tell you how many conversations I have with people that are like, I'm tired, I can't remember things, I feel like shit, I'm running on fumes, I'm stressed out, I'm overwhelmed, I can't focus, and I have all these things that I need to do. And you know, it's like that's like the average person's like most people are running on like that. Like that.
It's so sad. Yeah. So what's your non-negotiable when it comes to gut health and your mental wellness?
Okay. So remember I said 5 years ago, I didn't know anything about gut health. And everyone's going to see things through a different lens and a different perspective because we all are having our own experience. But for me, like it had to come it had to go in this order because I was where you were also dealing with problems with alcohol. And I was at my rock bottom in my health. I was in the worst health of my life. I'm now in the best health of my life. And it was, you know, it's just to look back on that. So for me, it was first filling the gaps. It was filling the gaps of the things that I weren't getting in my body. So that for me was supplementation. I started supplementing with a protocol that was specifically designed to optimize the gut-brain axis. So there's a lot of things about gut health and it gets really confusing. If you Google things, it's like there's a million things about gut health and we talk about it. It's almost like a pillar, right? We have the nutrition aspect, we have the stress aspect, and then I believe we have like the supplementation. So for me, I started on a protocol, and within the first 30 days of this protocol, it was to rebalance my gut health. It was to kill off the bad bacteria that were causing me to feel bad and starting to produce some of that serotonin and dopamine that we talked about earlier that's produced in the gut. And as a result of this, all of the things that I told you before, the mental clarity, the energy, the motivation, the feeling better, the stress and anxiety, I never filled a prescription medication. I was on a lot of prescription medications for my mental wellness. I never filled it again. And it was the protocol that I take to this day. So one of the things that is in this protocol that is normally 9 times out of 10 where I recommend people get started, because I'm a big believer in starting simple, especially when you are in a state of overwhelm or you don't really know and maybe you've tried a lot of things and like, you know, you're just wanting to feel better and then like start building on that. That's really what I like to do with people. And I always like to really tell them, like, give yourself 90 days to really commit to your gut health because you didn't get this way overnight. There's going to be some root level repair. You're going to be cleaning up the gut bacteria. You're going to be helping your gut lining get back in integrity, all of these things. So I say 30 days, and I start people off on a protocol, kind of where they're at. But this is a non-negotiable. You might see me drinking this. I call it Rebel Fuel, and essentially it is she has hers as well. It is a drink. It's 2 parts. One is going to be nootropic. So nootropic is going to help you with mental clarity, energy, really going to start driving that like mental fuel, and have you start feeling like you're able to show up with less stress, as Amy said. Things are a little bit more calm. You're just feeling like, people always message me and they're like, I don't know what this feeling is, but I feel so good. And I've never experienced this before. So if you're running on a lot of like energy drinks, you're tired, like Amy said, you're drinking multiple cups of coffee, What I love about a nootropic is it's essentially it'll give you that mental energy without the crash. So that's what's going to be in here. We have it in 3 flavors. I'm drinking the watermelon, but then there's another product in here that is like a silent warrior, we'll call it. It doesn't have a taste to it, but it is everything you need for your gut and your brain. So it's going to help with that gut-brain connection that we talked about. And what makes this different from, say, like every other gut health product out there is not only are you getting the pre and the probiotics for your gut health, but you're getting the specific strains for mental wellness. So we're tackling that whole gut-brain axis. So that's a lot of information, but it's literally 2 sticks that you mix in water, and it's a non-negotiable. It sounds so silly that like this changed my life so drastically. It's a drink, but it is amazing. It's replaced all of I used to drink copious amounts of energy drinks and just kind of be running like on that. So it's giving you everything you need for your gut and your brain. And this is where I like to start people, because people notice changes pretty quickly with this. And then as we move forward, if there's other things that they want to address, like hormones or sleep or anything else, we can always take a look. But I say start simple, start easy. And this is my non-negotiable for my supplement protocol. And then, as I mentioned to you guys before, just really making sure that my diet is this good. It's not perfect. I'm an 80-20 kind of person. I love ice cream. But just really making sure that I'm managing my stress levels, and I'm a human being, have a human experience. So sometimes I can't do any of that, and all I can do is drink the drink. That's good enough too.
Yes, thank you for sharing. Honestly, it is a game changer. And
what's your experience been?
Oh, Danielle, like, well, like the tears of joy, like from going from crying of despair in my doctor's office to then like having a moment with my kid where I'm standing in the kitchen and I remember something that she said to me passing by the day before that was really busy. And then all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, like tears are streaming down my face. I'm really emotional because like I'm able to be so much more present with her, be able to hear her, even when I'm being a busy mom and I got like 6 things on the go. It's like, oh, she said something to me. I can still hear that. And my brain can still like compartmentalize that. Coming from addictions, coming from, eating poorly and a life of a lot of crap. My brain was so overstimulated all the time. And my nervous system was like a loose elastic band, like an overstretched elastic band. It couldn't handle anything. It was absolutely just trash. Like, especially my memory, I'll be honest, especially my memory. And the credit, I think, goes to the nootropic, the watermelon that you're talking about, the one that's available in mango and grape too, like yum yum. It literally helped. And the digestion though, also because I struggled with IBS and
I remember
poor digestive system because of the alcohol and the not eating and the drugs and stuff that I was taking. I really damaged my digestive system, and that repair was through the roof.
Right.
I actually didn't realize how bloated I was and like how much pain I had, like how much digestive pain I had. It took it not being there for me to really realize like how much pain my body was in. I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, wow, this is the first time I can actually digest food without that depth of pain and stuff. Yeah, so huge life changer.
Oh my God, it makes me so happy. It's like such a huge amount of things, right? It's like, think about how life-changing that is. All because you were like, hold on, before I get on all these prescription medications, I'm going to listen to my gut, and I'm going to go out on the limb. I'm going to try this thing. If it doesn't work, then at least I tried it. But there's an intuitional gut feeling that maybe this is the right thing for me. And what do I have to lose? And as a result of that, like you could have you made a choice and you could have went 2 different ways, right? You could have went down the route and you probably would have maybe masked some of your symptoms or felt some relief, but you decided to take your power back, heal at the root level, and it's literally caused a ripple effect in your how you show up as a mom, your business, your life, like all of the things. And it's just so beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing. I mean, it literally makes me want to cry.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful for you. And thank you for sharing
Thank
that.
you. I appreciate it. It wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for you getting up there and like sharing your story and speaking your truth. So thank you for being here, Danielle. I really appreciate it. Just one last quick question before we close off. What is an affirmation or a mantra statement, whatever you say to yourself that has kept you motivated in your gut health, in your mental wellness along your journey?
Oh, that's a mantra.
Any sort of simple statement.
I'm a big fan of just telling myself that I'm safe in my body. That is something that I repeat. I love to, it's that and then breathing exercises. It just depends. I always make my exhale bigger than my long hail if I'm looking to relax, and my inhale longer than my exhale if I'm looking to energize myself. So those are like two of my things. So those are two little things. Next time you're in a state, stop yourself, remind yourself, tell your body that you're safe, because that'll help you with your digestion. And then if you are needing to relax, just breathe out longer than you inhale. Or if you're looking to energize yourself in the morning, make the inhale longer. Use your parasympathetic nervous system. It's all connected, but just remind yourself that you're safe. That's probably my number one.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's perfect. That was a beautiful, beautiful share at the end. Very important information to like how powerful your breath is. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. There was like
I know. I wish I would have shared this. Tag me in all the things. We'll share this all. Thanks everyone for being there. Oh, how did you do that?
I held it. I wasn't sure. There we go.
Hey, I won't do it.
Oh, yay! Yes,
everyone. I appreciate everyone who was on, who jumped on. Thank you so much for spending your time with us and co-regulating this morning. I hope you got value out of this. If you got value out of it, make sure to go ahead and share it. And with that, someone you think could benefit from it. Amy and I are here with any questions. If you want to follow me, I'm sure I'll be tagged in Amy's, but all of my my handles are my name, which is at the Danielle DeGrande. And I can drop it in the comments once we post this.
Awesome. She's got a wicked TikTok page too. Go check her out if you're on TikTok.
Oh, I love you so much. This was so good. Can we do this every Monday together?
Right? This was so good. I love it too. It's awesome. What a good.
I hope everyone has a beautiful, beautiful rest of their day, and a Merry, Merry Christmas.
Awesome.
If you celebrate, and a Happy New Year. All the things.
All the things. Thank you. Yeah. So follow Danielle. I know we have a mindset call here. I don't know if you're jumping on, but do we have a mindset call today?
I don't know. I can't see my notifications. If so,
yeah.
Amy and I are just leveling up over here.
We're just leveling up.
We're just leveling up all things.
Well,
Amy,
if you
post this, tag me in it and try to see if it'll go on my wall.
Okay, I will for sure.
I love you. Thanks, everybody.
I love you too. We'll chat soon.
Okay.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. I think you could just jump out. Woohoo! Again, thank you, Danielle, for joining and sharing on this awesome journey with us today. You are such an inspiration, Danielle, and just, love spending time, love jumping on the team meetings with you. And I hope to everybody watching live or listening to the replay, I hope this conversation sparked something in you. I hope you got some amazing nuggets, whether it's curiosity, wanting more information, wanting to shift your gut health from the inside out. Maybe you're feeling more motivated into taking that first step. Everybody's where they are at on their journey, and there's no judgment for it. So whether you're wanting more information, whether you're curious, whether you're more motivated to take that first step, whatever it may be, we are here for you to answer any questions. You can DM me or DM Danielle and take that small step towards help you take that small step towards prioritizing your wellness. So if gut health has been on your radar, or if you're feeling stuck, remember, small, consistent steps lead to big changes. Start with your breath, as Danielle finished there at the end. Again, I'm here to guide you if you need support. I've got the tools, the resources, and the same incredible community that has helped me 2 years ago. And we're just growing. We are just growing the power of one. So let me know what resonated with you most today. You can drop it in the comments. You can, again, DM me. Follow me on Instagram at reds.litcoaching, at amyd.co. Listen to the live replay on Spotify on the Journey to Inner Self series, or watch it on Instagram. Yeah, so make sure you follow me, DM me. I'd love to connect. We have complimentary discovery chats to get you started. I hope you all have a powerful week and a very Merry Christmas. Many blessings to you. Happy solstice. And we'll chat with you next week before New Year's Eve. Whoop, whoop. We'll see you then. Peace and blessings.